but understanding with Europe, and with Japan, and with South Korea, and with Australia.
China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. And the quiet but serious question, are America's allies, Japan, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, beginning to think about their own nuclear options? Welcome to American Hearings. Senator Kennedy chairs a hearing on America's nuclear stockpile with a question he says out loud that most won't. If I'm running Japan right now, am I thinking about getting a weapon? A rare, frank national security session.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. Obviously, today we're here to talk about nuclear weapons and the National Nuclear Security Administration. And most of us, all of us, know what you do. You're in charge of the weapons stockpile and non-proliferation and nuclear propulsion for our Navy. The President's proposed budget, I was looking at it before we started. It's a substantial increase by 35%. Most of that has to do with modernizing and buying new nuclear weapons. We're clearly behind other countries, including but not limited to China. I want to hear from you today. I mean, about a number of things, but one of the things I want to talk about is how we're going to accomplish our ends over the next 15 or 20 years, but do it efficiently. The days of blank checks, particularly during the Cold War, are gone. I mean, we have competing interests. This is a very important one, but we've got to do better, it seems to me, in terms of our results. Now, the President's budget, it puts a lot of money in this, and we put money in reconciliation for the agency. But we keep putting money, maybe in your opinion not enough, but we do keep putting money in, for example, plutonium pits. We're not getting enough pits. We need more. And I'm not sure that money is altogether the problem. And I want to talk about that. But I'll save all my other remarks for later. I'll turn to the vice chair of the subcommittee and the vice chair of the whole committee, Senator Murray. We're honored today to have you three gentlemen with us. Congressman Brandon Williams, I think, is going to give the opening statement. He, of course, is our NNSA administrator. The Honorable David Beck, Deputy NNSA Administrator for Defense Programs, and the Honorable Matthew Napoli. Did I say that right, Matthew?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. Our Deputy NNSA Administrator for Defense Nuclear Non-Proliferation. The proposed budget by the President is $32.8 billion. That's a 29% increase. Most of that is in weapons activities, which is an increase of 30%, but also important are the naval reactors and the nuclear non-proliferation efforts as well. We'll talk about all of them. Congressman, Mr. Administrator, the floor is yours. Gentlemen, I've listened very carefully. You guys are good. And I really appreciate that. This is not an area you want to screw around in. And I hope you can go back and get some of your former colleagues back on board. I want to talk in a second about money, but first, I want to ask Dr. Napoli a very unfair question. I look around the world. This is not a criticism of anybody. I look around the world. I look at the conflict in the Middle East, look at Ukraine, look at Russia, look at North Korea, which has been really quiet. That doesn't mean that underneath the surface they're not moving forward. Obviously, look at China. Look at the things going on in South America. Some of our neighbors are moving toward democracy, but some of them are moving toward authoritarianism. It's certainly the case in sub-Saharan Africa. And we've learned a lot from the conflict in Iran, it seems to me. A lot of people have had to show their cards. And you know the question I ask myself? Let's take Japan. Wealthy country, smart people, developed. If I'm running Japan, I'm going to be thinking about getting a nuclear weapon. Aren't you? I mean, aren't you? Let's be honest. If I'm the UAE, I just got out of OPEC. If I'm the UAE, thinking, my God, I've got a neighbor who's Charles Manson. I'm going to be thinking about getting a weapon. How do we stop that?
Senator, that's a great question. If you really care about non-proliferation, if you really care about countries that are aspirational and have expressed interest in getting a nuclear weapon, and yet that are allies of the United States, and you can pick any country, Poland, Germany, Japan, Saudi Arabia, any country that might have those aspirations or wish, confidence in the American deterrent, the American extended deterrent, our capability and credibility is the best argument for not developing their own weapons program.
Is that confidence there?
If we continue to demonstrate our commitment to modernize our strategic deterrent, to address the tactical and theater threat and counter that threat, if we do that in earnest, if we do our jobs right, yes, sir, they will believe in peace through American atomic strength, as has been set for the last 80 years. But if our allies doubt that, then we're going to have a proliferation problem, and that is exactly why we need to make historic and generational investments in the infrastructure and in the commitment to our strategic weapons capability.
Dr. Napoleon?
Thank you, Senator. First, before I answer your question, I do want to lament that I was born and raised in the great state of Louisiana. I was educated in Louisiana, so I want to thank you for your leadership in the state.
Thank you.
I'm a graduate of Louisiana Tech University, and I'm extremely proud of that.
Good school, great school.
Thank you, sir. After I graduated, I joined the military, and I served my entire career in the Department of Navy, defending our nation. The topics that you bring up are profound, and I think the administrator hit it extremely well on American extended deterrence. I would also add to that our support for the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. As soon as we finish this hearing, I'll be on a train to New York to attend the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference and lobby for the non-proliferation mission. So I want you to know that I take the questions that you asked with absolute gravity of the responsibilities associated with that, and I will work tirelessly to accomplish that mission during my time in office.
Well, here's what I see, and I could be wrong. I see Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin and the supreme leader in Iran, the new one as well as the deceased former, working together. I see Xi as the quarterback. I mean, it's a partnership, but the managing partner is President Xi. And their goal is to have Russia dominate Central and Eastern Europe, and to have Iran dominate the Middle East. That's not going so well right now. But that's their goal. And their goal is to have China dominate the Indo-Pacific with freedom to roam in sub-Saharan Africa and freedom to roam along with Putin in South and Central America. And by the way, Putin and Xi have plans for both the Arctic and space. Now, you can call yourself what you want, an isolationist, an interventionist, a neocon. You can call yourself what you want. That's not a world that's safe for America. I do not want America to be the world's policeman. I don't want those guys to be the world's policeman either. Now, I also don't think America first has to mean America alone. But it's complicated because America together implies that everybody's got to pick up their share of the check. And we just can't afford to do all this anymore. I guess every generation says this. I've never seen the world more dangerous than it is now. I haven't. I think we've got to come to some sort of understanding. I like to say friendship, but understanding with Europe, and with Japan, and with South Korea, and with Australia, and with Canada. I think it's going to take all of us, but everybody's got to pay their way. And I think we can hold a line on the proliferation, unless people think they can't count on us. Okay? The South Koreans are proud people. Man, what they've done in a short period of time, it's a miracle. It's just, they've gone from dirt poor to, gosh, just breathtaking progress. They're not going to sit there and not protect themselves. Right now, they think they can count on us. They can. But that's part of what this is all about. I'm not going to ask you to comment on this, and I know I'm putting you on the spot because we don't need a headline saying Dr. Napoli says Japan's going to go get a nuclear weapon. And you didn't comment on that as far as I'm concerned, but you know, I'm not Bambi's baby brother. I'm damn sure they've talked about it. Here's the deal on the money. The president says we're going to spend $1.5 trillion extra on defense. That includes you gentlemen and your colleagues. I don't know yet how we're going to do that. My guess is that if we try to spend an extra $1.5 trillion on defense through our normal budget, that my Democratic friends are going to have something to say. Just a hunch, okay? So at some point, the powers that be around here, I'm still trying to figure out who they are, okay, are going to say, well, we need to do another reconciliation bill and spend some of that money in reconciliation. Right now, our record on reconciliation, it's not real good, okay? So I don't know how all this is going to fit in. But it is clear to me that we've got to spend more money on defense. But it is clear to me that we have got to spend more money on our nuclear stockpile and on non-proliferation and on our reactors. But guys, we don't have a penny to waste. And I want to ask the hard questions. Do we need 2 plutonium pit production facilities? I'm not saying we don't, but we're going to have to talk about it. What do we do to hire the people we need? Every single one of you can go tomorrow in the private sector and quadruple your salary with stock options. Okay, how do we attract people like you to come on into government and help us deal with all this? I wish that, you know, it's easy to raise questions, you know. I admire the hell out of the problem, but I don't have a solution. But that's what we're going to be doing together. There's no bigger, more important part of this energy and water development budget than what you guys do. Okay? We'll get together privately, publicly. If we need to have a classified briefing, tell me. You know, don't get pissed off and quit. You know, we need you on board, okay? Because this is serious stuff we're dealing with. Serious, serious stuff. And I'll leave with this final thought. It's not just the number of weapons. It's what they can do and how we deploy them. And I'm gonna hush, but we got to keep the UK and Australia hitched up on the submarine program. I mean, there are a lot of things we got to explore together. So we want your input. All right, thank you, gentlemen. I've learned a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks to the folks behind you who do a lot of the work. Thank you, guys. Y'all take the rest of the day off.
Welcome back to American Hearings. Kennedy opens this hearing as chair, which means he sets the frame, and the frame he sets is unusually candid even for his standard. He doesn't start with budget line items. He starts with a global threat assessment. China as the quarterback of a coordinated axis, with Russia targeting Eastern Europe, Iran targeting the Middle East, and China seeking dominance across the Indo-Pacific. Sub-Saharan Africa, the Arctic, and space all factored in as contested domains. He names it plainly and asks the officials not to comment on it. He already knows what they'd have to say publicly. The Japan question is the most striking moment. Kennedy says out loud what strategists discuss behind closed doors. A wealthy, technologically advanced nation watching its security environment deteriorate will eventually ask whether it can rely on the American nuclear umbrella. And if the answer becomes uncertain, proliferation follows. The NNSA administrator's response centers on credibility. The best argument against allied proliferation is a demonstrably capable and committed American deterrent. The moment allies doubt that, the calculus changes. It's a clear-eyed answer, and Kennedy accepts it, while making clear the funding and policy commitments have to back it up. Kennedy's efficiency argument runs through the entire session. The days of Cold War blank checks are over. Do we need 2 plutonium pit production facilities? He doesn't claim to know, but he insists the question be asked. His closing thought, America first does not have to mean America alone, lands as both a strategic point and a signal to allies watching this hearing. Subscribe to American Hearings.